we wanted to discuss some of the most common mistakes that foreigners make when they come to Paraguay. And I want to lead this here with a very important point that happens almost all the time with people that do not pay attention to this very important fact. What I'm talking about here is considering the weather. And that sounds like, okay, so sensible. So, yeah, sure, you got to consider the weather. And if you've been living abroad, you probably know what I'm talking about. For instance, in Asia, the weather doesn't change a whole lot. In most countries in Southeast Asia, you have two seasons. You have hot, humid, and dry. This is one season. And then you have season two, which is hot, humid, and wet. So during the wet season, it rains a lot. And a lot of people that came to Asia, to certain places like Vietnam, like for instance, in southern Vietnam, that has a very long rainy season. When they came to Vietnam, where I also lived, they were surprised by how much it rained there. They're like, wow, this is unbelievable. And you may not like that if you're the kind of person who wants to be doing things outdoors for the time that you're there and you get there during the rainy season, you might be a little bit disappointed. And weather is something that's individual. Each person has their own taste. Some people like hot and dry. They'd be happy living in a desert with 1 to 2 days of rain per year. They'd be happy with that. But then there are people like, I want a little bit more balance. I just want 3 to 4 seasons. That's what I want. So people are uniquely different. And one thing you have to know about Paraguay's weather is that in the summertime, it's really, really hot. And the people that, let's say, they spend half of the year in Paraguay, or even if it's just 4 to 6 months, they usually come to Paraguay during the better time when the weather is not so hot. Like they might spend 4 to 6 months in Paraguay, and then they might spend the remaining 4 to 6 months maybe somewhere else, like Mexico or Southern Europe. That fits them just a lot better. It's what they want. Do you want to add something here, Jesse? I mean, you've been living in Paraguay all your life, so you're very familiar with the weather when it gets hot, when there is a transition taking place. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that and how you see that affecting foreigners who live there?
Yeah, like you said, I saw many people, especially migrant people or expats, however you call it, that come here for a period of time, like you say, like 6 months or more months, but avoiding the summertime, because summertime here means, I don't know, like 3 or 4 weeks with 40 degrees. So it's really, really a burden for many people that are not used to this quantity of heat. So because in Paraguay we also don't have like a wide range of microclimates. So you won't see here a region of Paraguay with rainy season, like you mentioned, or summer season here and rainy season there, or colder here, because Paraguay is not a really big country, and also we don't have a variety of, like I mentioned, microclimates. So in all Paraguay, it will be 40 degrees when it's summer. So it's really hard to maintain a good energy when you have this quantity of heat. So you can't walk outside, but it's not all the year, of course. Now, for example, we have an average of 30 degrees, which is good if you like summertime. For me, this is really great. We also have national drink with this, which is very popular. It's with ice and it's like mate basically, and it helps us a lot to survive during summer. And we drink this all the year. So probably if you come to Paraguay, you are probably going to drink this special drink that we have here. So this is the weather in Paraguay. 40 degrees in summer, but the rest of the year is good.
I think it's really important to know you don't want to go to a place, book a flight, and find yourself in a place where you're like, oh, the weather is just not for me. And there are a lot of places like that. If you are a person that just likes a certain type of weather, if you like it cool to cold, you have to really listen to yourself, what you like, what you enjoy. We're all different. There are some people that love living in a place that has 3 to 4 seasons, and that makes them happy. Then there are people that just like it warm and sunny all the time. We're all different. And so it's really important that you inform yourself. You don't want to be disappointed going to a place and thinking that the weather is a certain way. Then when you get there, it's something completely different. You don't want to get in a situation like that. The next thing I wanted to talk about here is, of course, the cost of living, and specifically apartments. There is a very common point here that we should address. And whenever you rent an apartment, it's really important that you don't just take the first offer that you are presented with. You just don't do that. Whether that's on Airbnb, whether that's when you're walking down the streets of Asuncion looking at apartments or houses where you want to call people because there are numbers advertised outside, you want to make sure that you negotiate for yourself. You don't want to accept the first price that's being presented to you. Neither should you accept the first apartment or house that you see. When you get there, you want to be looking at least 3 to 5 different places so you can get an idea of whether a place could be overpriced, underpriced, maybe it's fair value, but you want to get a general idea of what's available on the marketplace. And it's also important that you first consider what you actually want. Where do you want to rent? What are some good neighborhoods? What are some bad neighborhoods? Where should you be renting? And safety is definitely important. And so, Jesse, if you can like tell us a little bit more about that. Let's say I'm coming down to Paraguay, or let's say one of our listeners is coming down to Paraguay. They want to rent an apartment. The most obvious option is Airbnb. Airbnb is overpriced. There's a high markup on it. The platform takes decent cut from that total amount that you're paying. So a lot of people should not be renting for Airbnb. Of course, they might be able to get a long-term deal out of an Airbnb that they found. It's possible, but most of the times you're gonna get a much, much better deal when searching for the apartment locally. What's your take here? How should somebody go about finding an apartment and not make one of the most common mistakes that people make, which is to overpay? You don't want to overpay.
Yeah, of course. I think that this is one of the most common mistakes that people are doing when they are coming in Paraguay and they don't know where to live. So first thing you have to look after, where do you want to live? What type of city do you would like to live? And which type of services do you want close to you? So what I normally recommend or try to recommend people is not only about thinking in Asuncion as a potential home for you for a long term, but also look outside Asuncion. Actually, Asuncion is not a big city, so you can be out of Asuncion in 30 minutes and you will also find plenty of apartment opportunities, not only doing networking, but also on social media, like I always mention. You can see on Facebook Market, but also look after local real estate businesses. So you will find really, really good prices, a really nice house or apartment. So first thing you have to do when you are coming to Paraguay, the best decision you can do is stay informed and be cost aware, cost conscious, especially of the house where you want to live, because it's your first decision when you're going to come to Paraguay. So not only looking after a place inside of Asuncion, but I will suggest first to look and compare the prices of the nearest cities like Luque, San Lorenzo, really close cities around Asuncion. So if you want to be close to Asuncion, if you want to do co-working and enjoy many of the things you can have in Asuncion, you can live like 30 minutes away of Asuncion or even less, because these cities are really close to Asuncion and Asuncion is not a big city also. So for example, I will give my own reference. I live 20 minutes away of Asuncion. I have a huge park close to my place. I have all sort of services, supermarket, hospitals, police station, schools, for example, close to my place. I can go walking in every place. Even I can get walking in Asuncion or for I can be in the other side of Asuncion. Everything is really cheap in that term. So I, for example, pay less than $300 a month. Of course, I had to buy all my furnitures. Um, but you can, and in my place, for example, this is a 2-floor house. So I have 2 rooms, kitchen, living room. I have a space for parking a car, for example. I have a dog and a cat, and I also am living with my brother now. So it's a really good place for a really cheap price. And it gives me the opportunity to buy everything that I need for my house and to feel comfortable. But for example, if you are coming with your family, I don't know, you are a couple and bringing a kid, for example, I'm watching now Facebook and I can see one house for less than $400 with 3 rooms, with a patio for parking for 2 cars, for example, really close to the supermarket area and for of the school area. It's not in Asuncion, but it's also in the same city that I am living. So this is the normal price for a huge house. For example, 3 rooms is a lot of space for a family. It's really good with even a patio. I think that this is the normal price if you really take the opportunity to look beyond Airbnb. And also if you are planning to settle here in Paraguay and you are going to buy your own furniture, even these houses that are for renting, they even have the air conditioning installed already in the house. And if you want a bigger house or a more modern house, the price that I'm telling you, it's for modern house, actually even brand new. So if you are not cost aware, probably people are going to want to rent you a house with an overpriced price. So it's only the matter is you need to or ask someone for help or looking for Facebook, for example, or other places or visiting real estate businesses, and you will find really great places and with great prices.
You just told us, Jesse, that you're paying $300 for an apartment with
Less,
2
actually, it's a
floors.
bit less.
Okay, so $300 for an apartment with 2 floors. You have a couple of rooms. You have a living room. You have at least 2 bedrooms. You have 1 kitchen. You have, I think you said, 2 bathrooms, correct? I
Yeah,
mean,
1 bathroom, living room, kitchen, patio, balcony, parking.
and how many bedrooms do you have?
It's 2 bedrooms.
Okay, I
2.
mean, it's a bargain. In Texas, you
Mhm.
couldn't rent a fully furnished room for less than 300. I mean, a fully furnished
Mhm.
room, you got to pay 400 to $800 depending on where you're located. It could even be more than that, right? But that's the typical range. I mean, it's an incredible deal. Subscribe now and turn on alerts to never miss any of my future nomadism, dating, and business advice videos. Thank you for watching.